Why men should never get married. What if I told you that 67% of people ignore the warning signs that predict divorce before they even walk down the aisle? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today we're diving deep into something that could literally save you years of heartache, thousands of dollars, and emotional trauma that can last a lifetime. Look, I know this isn't the most romantic topic, but here's the reality. Half of all marriages end in divorce. And here's what's even more shocking. Relationship. Experts can predict with 90% accuracy which couples will divorce just by observing them for 15 minutes. So why are we so bad at seeing these red flags ourselves? That's exactly what we're going to uncover today. Before we jump in, if this video helps even one person avoid a toxic marriage, then we've done our job. So smash that like button, hit subscribe for more relationship reality checks, and let's get into it. Now, I'm not here to scare you away from love or marriage. I'm here because I've spent the last studying relationship psychology. I've interviewed divorce attorneys, marriage counselors, and relationship experts, and I've analyzed thousands of real relationship stories. More importantly, I've seen too many good people. Maybe people like you ignore obvious warning signs because they were blinded by love or hope or the pressure to settle down. Today's video is based on research from Dr. John Gottman, who studied over 3,000 couples for 30 years, as well as insights from leading relationship therapists and real stories from people who've been there. We're going to cover 10 major red flags, why they're so dangerous, real examples of each one, and most importantly, what to do if you're seeing these signs right now. Red flag 1, the communication breakdown. Let's start with the big one. And this isn't just about arguing. It's about how you communicate during conflict. Meet Sarah. She's been with Jake for 3 years. On the surface, everything looks perfect. They rarely fight, they agree on most things, and everyone says they're the perfect couple. But here's what Sarah told me in private. Whenever I tried to bring up something that bothered me, Jake would either shut down completely, give me the silent treatment for days, or he'd turn it around and make me feel like I was being too sensitive. I started keeping my concerns to myself just to keep the peace. This is what relationship experts call conflict avoidance, and it's actually more dangerous than couples who argue regularly. Here's what healthy communication looks like. Both people can express disagreement without fear. Issues get resolved, not just avoided. No name-calling, insults, or character attacks. Both people listen to understand, not just to respond. Red flag communication looks like one person always gives in to avoid conflict. Issues get swept under the rug repeatedly. Conversations turn into blame sessions. Someone uses guilt, manipulation, or emotional blackmail. I talked to Mark, who ignored this red flag. He told me, my ex-wife never wanted to talk about problems. If I brought up our finances, our future plans, or issues with her family, she'd either cry, storm out, or give me the silent treatment. I thought I was being a good husband by just letting things go. 5 years later, we were strangers living in the same house. Pay attention to how your partner handles disagreement. Do they fight fair? Can you both express concerns without the relationship feeling threatened? If not, this needs to be addressed before you say, I do. Red flag 2, the financial secrets. Money problems are the #1 cause of divorce. But it's not just about being broke. It's about financial deception and incompatible money values. Lisa thought she knew everything about her fiancé David's finances. They'd talked about their future, their goals, even looked at houses together. 2 weeks before the wedding, she discovered he had $47,000 in credit, card debt he'd been hiding. But it gets worse, Lisa told me. When I found out, he didn't apologize. He got angry at me for snooping and said it wasn't a big deal because we'd pay it off together after we got married. Financial red flags include hiding debt, income, or spending habits, completely different money values, spender versus saver, unwillingness to discuss finances openly, history of financial irresponsibility, expecting you to fix their money problems. According to financial experts, couples should know each other's credit scores, all debts and assets, monthly income and expenses, financial goals and spending habits, how they plan to handle money as a married couple. Tom shared his story. My ex-husband was a secret gambler. I found out 3 years. into our marriage when creditors started calling our house. He'd taken out loans against our home without telling me. Financial betrayal doesn't just hurt your bank account. It destroys trust permanently. Before you get engaged, have the money talk, all of it. If your partner gets defensive, secretive, or dismissive about finances, that's a massive red flag. Money problems can be solved, but financial deception is a character issue. Red flag 3, the family dynamics disaster. Here's something most people don't realize. You're not just marrying your partner. You're marrying into their family system, and how they handle family relationships tells you everything about your future. Jennifer's story still gives me chills. She'd been dating Ryan for 2 years, and she loved how close he was with his family. I thought it was sweet how much he cared about his mom's opinion, she said. But then she started noticing things. Ryan's mom had keys to his apartment and would just show up. She'd rearrange Jennifer's things and make comments about her cooking, her clothes, her job. When Jennifer brought this up to Ryan, he said, "That's just how Mom is. She means well." Fast forward to their marriage. His mother planned our honeymoon, decorated our first apartment, and even tried to name our children. Ryan never stood up to her because he said I was being jealous and unreasonable. This isn't about disliking your partner's family. It's about boundaries and loyalty. When you get married, your spouse becomes your primary family. If they can't establish healthy boundaries with parents, siblings, or extended family, your marriage will suffer. Partner always takes family's side over yours. Family members disrespect you, and partner doesn't defend you. Partner can't make decisions without family input. Excessive financial or emotional dependence on family. Family members try to control your relationship. Mike learned this the hard way. My ex-wife's family treated me like an outsider from day one. They'd have family meetings without me, make plans for our money, and constantly criticize my career choices. When I asked my wife to stand up for me, she said I was being too sensitive. I realized she'd never really left her family. She just brought a husband home to them. Watch how your partner handles family conflict. Do they protect your relationship? Can they say no to family demands? Are you treated as a welcomed addition or an unwelcome intrusion? This will not improve after marriage. It will get worse. Red flag 4, the respect deficit. This one's subtle but deadly. It's not about obvious abuse. It's about the daily erosion of respect that kills marriages slowly. Amanda's friends thought she was lucky. Her boyfriend, Marcus, was successful, attractive, and seemed devoted to her. But Amanda started noticing small things that made her uncomfortable. He'd interrupt me constantly when I was talking to other people. He'd correct me in public, even about things that didn't matter. He'd make jokes at my expense and then say I was being too sensitive when I didn't laugh. The worst part was how he'd talk about my dreams. I wanted to start my own business, and he'd always find ways to subtly discourage me. "That's a nice hobby," he'd say. Or, "Maybe after we get settled." He never directly said no, but he made me feel foolish for wanting more. Respect isn't just about not calling names. It's about valuing your partner's thoughts, feelings, dreams, and autonomy. It's about treating them as an equal partner, not someone you need to manage or improve, dismissing your feelings or concerns, making decisions that affect you without consulting you, public embarrassment or jokes at your expense, discouraging your goals or dreams, treating you like you're not smart enough to handle adult decisions, comparing you unfavorably to others. Dr. John Gottman's research shows that contempt, which includes disrespect, mockery, and superiority, is the #1 predictor of divorce. It's more destructive than anger or criticism because it attacks your partner's character and worth. Compare that to Rachel's experience. My husband and I disagree on lots of things, but he never makes me feel stupid for my opinions. When I wanted to change careers, he didn't understand it at first, but he supported me because he trusted my judgment. That's what respect looks like. Ask yourself, does your partner make you feel valued and respected? Do they celebrate your successes or minimize them? Do they support your growth or try to keep you small? Your gut knows the answer. Red flag 5, the control factor. Red flag 5, the control factor. Control doesn't always look like aggression. Sometimes it looks like love, protection, or caring too much. But control in any form is toxic to relationships. Kevin seemed like the perfect boyfriend to Maya. He was attentive, generous, and seemed to really care about her well-being. But looking back, Maya realizes the signs were there from the beginning. He always wanted to know where I was, who I was with, what I was doing. At first, I thought it was sweet, like he really cared about me. But then it escalated. He started offering to pick me up from work so I wouldn't have to take the bus. Then he said it didn't make sense for me to keep my car since he could drive me everywhere. He'd get upset if I made plans with friends without checking with him first. By the time we got engaged, I was basically asking permission for everything. He convinced me it was because he loved me and wanted to protect me, but I wasn't being protected. I was being isolated. Financial control, managing all the money, preventing partner from working, hiding financial information, social control, isolating partner from friends and family, monitoring communications, creating conflict with partner's support system, emotional control, guilt trips and manipulation, threatening to leave over small issues, making partner feel crazy or overly sensitive. Control destroys the foundation of healthy relationships, mutual respect and individual autonomy. It creates an imbalance where one person has power over the other, which breeds resentment and kills genuine intimacy. It took me 2 years after leaving to realize how much of myself I'd lost. Maya continued. I'd stopped seeing friends, pursuing hobbies, even expressing opinions that differed from his. I thought love meant giving up your independence, but that's not love, that's ownership. Healthy partners want you to be your best self, not their version of who you should be. They encourage your friendships, support your goals, and trust you to make good decisions. If you feel like you're walking on eggshells or constantly justifying your choices, that's not love. Red flag 6, the addiction and substance issues. This is a tough one because addiction is a disease, but untreated addiction is absolutely incompatible with healthy marriage. I want to be clear. This isn't about judging people who struggle with addiction. This is about protecting yourself from entering a marriage where addiction is an active, untreated problem. Sarah's story illustrates this perfectly. I knew my fiancé drank more than I was comfortable with, but he was functional. He held down a good job, he was never violent, and he always said he could stop any time. But I started noticing patterns. Every social event revolved around drinking. Every stress led to drinking. Every celebration, every disappointment, every normal Tuesday evening, there was always a reason to drink. When I brought up my concerns, he'd get defensive and say I was being controlling. He'd promise to cut back, and maybe he would for a week or two. But it always went back to the same pattern. It's not just alcohol or drugs. Addictive behaviors include gambling, pornography, shopping spending, work addiction, gaming, internet addiction. Even exercise or social media. 3 years into our marriage, I realized I was married to his addiction. Not to him, Sarah explained. Every decision was filtered through whether it would interfere with his drinking. Our finances, our social life, our future plans, everything came second to protecting his ability to drink. Many people stay because they believe love can fix addiction, or that marriage will motivate their partner to change. But here's the hard truth. Addiction requires professional treatment and genuine commitment to recovery. Love alone cannot cure addiction. Signs of untreated addiction: inability to control or moderate the behavior, lying or hiding the extent of the problem, continuing despite negative consequences, defensive or angry when confronted, life revolving around the addictive behavior. If your partner has a history of addiction but is actively in recovery, that's different. Recovery requires acknowledgement of the problem, professional treatment or support groups, sustained sobriety, typically measured in years, not months, transparency and accountability, ongoing commitment to recovery. Don't marry someone who is actively struggling with untreated addiction, hoping that marriage will motivate them to change. It won't, and you'll end up married to the addiction. Red flag 7, the anger and emotional regulation issues. Everyone gets angry sometimes, but how someone handles anger tells you everything about their character and your future safety. Jason seemed perfect to Maria for the first year of their relationship. He was charming, successful, and treated her well. But then she started seeing his temper. It started with road rage. He'd scream at other drivers, honk aggressively, even get out of the car to confront people. I told myself it was just stress from work. Then I noticed he'd get disproportionately angry over small things. If a restaurant got his order wrong, if he had to wait in line, if technology wasn't working perfectly, he'd explode. He never directed it at me, so I thought it wasn't my problem. But anger like that doesn't stay contained. Eventually, I became the target. First, it was just yelling when he was frustrated about other things. Then it was yelling at me about things I'd done wrong. The day he put his fist through the wall next to my head, I knew I had to leave. Verbal aggression. Yelling, screaming, name-calling. Threats and intimidation. Saying cruel things during arguments. Physical aggression. Throwing things. Punching walls or objects. Any physical intimidation. Passive aggression. Silent treatment. Sabotaging plans or relationships. Indirect punishment. Anger issues typically follow this pattern. Incidents happen rarely, usually directed at others. Frequency increases, still mostly at external targets. Partner becomes occasional target during high stress. Partner becomes regular target. Escalation to threats or physical violence. People with uncontrolled anger create an environment of fear and unpredictability, even if they never hurt you physically. Living with someone who can't regulate their emotions is traumatic and exhausting. Healthy people can express anger without losing control, take responsibility for their emotional reactions, can calm down and discuss issues rationally. Don't use anger to intimidate or control. Therapists will tell you, anger management issues require professional intervention. It's not something people just grow out of or that love can fix. Without treatment, anger issues typically get worse over time, not better. If your partner has anger issues, they need to be actively working on this with a professional before you consider marriage. Your safety and peace of mind are not negotiable. Red flag 8, the incompatible life goals. This one seems obvious, but you'd be amazed how many couples ignore major incompatibilities, hoping someone will change their mind. David and Jennifer dated for 4 years before getting engaged. They were best friends, had amazing chemistry, and seemed perfect together. Except for one small issue. He wanted kids, she didn't. We kept thinking we'd figure it out, Jennifer told me. He thought I'd change my mind once we got married and settled down. I thought he'd realize our life was complete without kids. We both thought love would be enough to overcome this difference. 2 years into our marriage, the pressure started. His family asking when we'd have kids, his friends all becoming parents, him making comments about our future family. I felt like I was disappointing him just by being myself. Children. One wants kids, one doesn't. Different ideas about parenting styles. Different timelines for having children. Location. One wants to live in the city, one wants rural life. Different countries or regions. Career-related relocations. Religion, spirituality. Different beliefs about raising children. Different levels of religious involvement. Conflicting spiritual practices. Career priorities. Different ambitions and work-life balance. Conflicting travel or time requirements. Different financial goals. Some things can be compromised on. Where to go on vacation. How to decorate the house. Even how to spend money. But core life values and major life decisions aren't compromise issues. Someone always ends up sacrificing their authentic self. Mark shared his experience. My ex-wife was incredibly ambitious and wanted to climb the corporate ladder, travel constantly for work, and put off having a family indefinitely. I wanted a more traditional life with kids and stability. We thought we could make it work, but we just wanted fundamentally different lives. Successful long-term relationships require alignment on major life directions, family planning and parenting philosophy, career priorities and work-life balance, financial goals and spending philosophy, lifestyle preferences and living situations, values around social issues and personal growth. Have explicit conversations about non-negotiables, not just, do you want kids someday? But detailed discussions about timeline and specific plans. What you'd do if circumstances changed. How strongly you feel about these goals. Whether you're willing to compromise. If you have major incompatibilities on life goals, love isn't enough. You'll either force someone to give up their authentic desires or you'll end up resenting each other for holding each other back. Red flag 9, the intimacy and affection mismatch. This isn't just about physical intimacy, it's about emotional connection, affection, and how you relate to each other on the deepest levels. Lisa and Michael had what looked like a great relationship on paper. They were compatible in many ways, shared similar values, and rarely fought. But Lisa felt increasingly disconnected. "We were like really good roommates," she explained. "We functioned well together, but there was no real intimacy. He wasn't interested in deep conversations. Physical affection felt forced, and I constantly felt like I was wanting more connection than he was capable of giving." Physical mismatch. Drastically different needs for physical affection. Incompatible approaches to physical intimacy. One person avoiding physical connection. Emotional mismatch. Different needs for communication and sharing. Inability to be vulnerable with each other. Feeling like strangers despite being together. At first, I told myself it would get better with time. Maybe he was just shy or stressed or needed to feel more comfortable. But years went by and nothing changed. I started feeling lonely even when we were together. Intimacy and connection are core needs in marriage. Without them, you're essentially in a business partnership, not a romantic relationship. This creates vulnerability to emotional affairs, resentment, and eventual disconnection. Sometimes intimacy issues can be worked on together, but both people have to want to change. If one person is satisfied with surface-level connection, while the other needs deeper intimacy, that's a fundamental incompatibility. Conversation stays surface level. Physical affection feels obligatory. You feel lonely even when together. No curiosity about each other's inner lives. Difficulty being vulnerable with each other. Many people hope that marriage will deepen intimacy, but the opposite is usually true. The patterns you establish while dating typically intensify after marriage, not improve. Let's be clear about something. Recognizing these red flags doesn't mean you should never take risks in love or that everyone is doomed to fail. It means you should enter marriage with your eyes wide open. The people who ignore these warning signs aren't stupid or naive. They're hopeful. They believe love conquers all, that people change, that they can be the exception to the rule. And sometimes they're right. But more often, they spend years of their lives in relationships that were predictably problematic from the beginning. Here's what I want you to remember. You deserve a relationship where you feel respected, valued, and genuinely loved for who you are. You deserve a partner who shares your core values and life goals. You deserve emotional and physical safety. Don't settle for potential. Don't marry someone hoping they'll change. And don't ignore your gut instincts because you're afraid of being alone. If this video helped you recognize patterns in your own relationship, please share it with someone who might need to see it. Hit that like button if you found value here, and subscribe for more honest relationship content. Drop a comment below. Have you experienced any of these red flags? What would you add to this list? Let's start a conversation that could help other people avoid heartbreak. And remember, choosing the right person to marry is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Take it seriously. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.